developments in the industry for 6G. Some of them will work, some of them may not work, but let's see what we're doing. Okay. One is, you may have, if you follow technology, you would see that, if you want to transmit and receive, you can do that at different frequencies or different times. But one of the key challenges for the next generation of systems is to be able to transmit and receive at the same time at the same frequency. Okay, this is called full duplex. If you do that, you double the capacity. Now it's very challenging, and that's part of the research that's going on for 6G. Okay. The other thing is energy savings. Now each of your cell tower, the equipment there, consumes a few kilowatts of power. And you also know that anytime charging your phone is a problem. You always look for charging points in the car, at home, everywhere, right? So the next generation will ensure that your phone is sleeping 99% of the time and sort of only wakes up in order to either receive a call or make a call. Of course, it could be sleeping for 99 milliseconds and wake up for a millisecond, so you won't tell the difference. But that's sort of one of the things that will happen in the next generation of communications. You could also wake up the phone on demand, and there's a lot of similar technologies on the base station side to save energy. Massive MIMO. This is I think one of the most exciting technologies to happen in the next generation. So today, a cell tower just communicates, like a 120-degree sector. But often you want to reach only a few users who may be very far away, or you want to divide the capacity up in multiple ways. So there's a technology well known in communications where you can form beams by constructive interference of phase-shifted versions of the EM waves. So this can be used to reach a user who is far away, by just forming a beam in his direction, or to reach many users simultaneously by forming beams in their directions. So this is there today. It's going to get much more evolved in the next few years. So that will give a lot more capacity. So maybe like even quadrupling the capacity. And we're all capacity hungry to watch all the videos and the internet. The next thing that can happen is, you may be familiar with RFID. Right? So RFID uses a little bit of energy from the RF wave to sort of power itself. So the next advances could be if you could pump much higher power, which you can do in the licensed bands and on power, like sensors and devices like that. This is called ambient IoT. So sensors working without really a battery. Okay. Yeah. Maybe one of the last things is most of us have faced the problem of coverage, right? Especially if you live far off, you may not have coverage in your house, you don't have coverage only in particular rooms. So there's a new technology called reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, which you can put anywhere to tailor the coverage. So if you don't have coverage somewhere, you put up one of these things, it's almost like a poster, and then it will allow coverage to happen at that particular area. And it's a passive surface as far as the EM wave is concerned. So I won't go through this for lack of time. Last couple of things. The other problem, coverage, and India has championed getting ubiquitous coverage. That means we want coverage everywhere in 6G. So that will happen by a combination of airborne technologies. So you would have drones, then some high altitude vehicles at about 20-50 kilometers, as well as satellites. And today it's possible to get coverage on your mobile phone anywhere in the US. Elon Musk has launched a bunch of satellites that do this, and other satellite providers are going to follow, and I hope ISRO will follow too, so that nationwide we have coverage from satellite on ordinary cell phones. This happens with satellite phones, but that's not useful because how are you going to get satellite phones to every one of the billion people, right? It should happen on regular cell phones, and that's the trust in non-terrestrial networks. Positioning, right? GPS and Google knows your position, but the mobile operators don't do, and they can't locate your position inside your apartment. For example, in a medical emergency, the positioning accurately in 3D with the help of all the cell towers is another thrust area in 6G, which can have far-reaching implications. The ambulance, medical assistance can come directly to your room, which really can't happen today. Then the last one, we have so many towers. Other speakers talked about radar. They're only used for communications, but they can also be used for sensing. So for example, you could just, when there's no communication, you could use radar technology to map the environment, to find if there's a drone coming, or to even find out the traffic, right? So the integration of sensing and communications is the next step, and I think that can have applications that are more far-reaching and that we can't think about today. So I'd like to conclude my talk today to say science has played a big role in the next generation of communications technologies, and sort of our goal is to sort of implement these and leave it to the youngsters in the social media companies or wherever they are to find out new applications which can change our lives. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Ashwin Sharma, President of INSA, to formally invite Dr. K. M. Sivarajan with his role